It's 3 a.m. The room is completely silent. Everyone else is fast asleep. But somehow, your mind feels louder than ever. Small worries suddenly feel massive. Old memories creep in. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to uncover exactly why the human mind becomes so intense, so introspective, and honestly so heavy when the world goes completely quiet at 3 a.m. Let's start with that sudden, really disorienting moment. You open your eyes, the room is dark, the shadows feel heavy, and almost instantly your brain just starts spiraling. Worries from the daytime suddenly feel totally overwhelming, and you get this deep, sinking feeling of isolation. You look up at the ceiling and you can't help but ask yourself, am I the only one who feels like this? Because out of nowhere, you feel painfully alone. It's not just that you're bored or having trouble sleeping. It's a deep, hard-to-name kind of loneliness. You might just lie there in the dark wondering, does anyone actually understand me? Why on earth does anxiety feel so much stronger the second you're alone in the shadows of your bedroom? And then, naturally, your brain jumps to the big question, is this feeling ever gonna pass? Well, I want to stop you right there and assure you, you aren't imagining it. You're not weak for feeling it. And most importantly, there is a verified, absolutely fascinating psychological and biological reason for this nighttime dread. So what happens when the world gets quiet? To understand the 3 a.m. spiral, we really have to look at how our environment radically shifts the second the sun goes down and what that lack of distraction does to our psychology. Think about the sheer contrast for a second. During the day, your brain is totally buffered by noise. Conversations, movement, endless notifications. You've got your masks on and you're getting constant external feedback. But at night, that mask comes completely off. The silence sets in. With no buffering left, your attention turns entirely inward, leaving you completely alone with your unfiltered thoughts. The crucial point here is that loneliness at 3 a.m. isn't just about being in an empty room. It's about a lack of connection in that specific moment. You see, your nervous system actually evolved to stay alert to threats in the dark. So it's actively scanning those shadows for safety and connection. But instead of reassurance, it finds only quiet. So to fill that void, your mind just starts generating its own noise. And this brings us to the brain's vulnerable window. Because what happens biologically between 3 o'clock and 5 a.m. is a huge piece of this puzzle. This biological timeline explains so much. Right around 3 a.m., your core body temperature actually drops to its lowest point. As we hit 4 a.m., your brain's emotional regulation, basically your logical guardrails, are severely reduced. And then by 5 a.m., your brain is often starting to transition out of deep, vivid dream sleep. You are physiologically at your absolute lowest point of defense. It's a simple 3-step sequence that perfectly explains why tiny problems suddenly feel massive. Step 1, your mind regains consciousness. Step 2, your rational, emotional defenses remain completely offline. And step 3, you're left conscious enough to intensely feel, but not grounded enough to actually process those feelings. You wake up feeling all the heavy emotions of the dark, but your rational mind is still fast asleep. There is actually a specific clinical term for this really weird, disorienting twilight zone where you're caught between sleep and waking, and we need to unpack it. It's called the hypnopompic state. This is that shadowy, in-between space, transitioning from sleep to wakefulness. In this state, the heavy emotions from your dreams can literally linger in your waking mind, while logic takes a lot longer to boot up. Memories and deep longings surface super easily here. You might wake up missing a past version of yourself, or a specific moment in time where you felt entirely safe. If you were just dreaming of deep connection or comfort, your brain jolts awake, looks into the pitch-black room, and basically asks, wait, where did that feeling go? And in the profound silence of the night, your brain interprets that sudden absence as profound, crushing loneliness. But why does this loneliness feel so much stronger for some people? Well, a lot of it comes down to the burden of emotional exhaustion. This 3 a.m. spiral hits the hardest if you are emotionally exhausted, grieving a loss, dealing with burnout, experiencing past trauma, or, and this is a big one, if you spend a huge amount of time being strong for everybody else during the day. If you've been carrying a heavy emotional load, your exhausted brain is inevitably going to drop its guard when the lights go out. Because think about it. Without anyone to text and without any external feedback to remind you that you are seen and safe, your tired brain defaults right back to its evolutionary programming. It scans the dark for safety, finds only quiet, and starts imagining worst-case emotional scenarios. Not because your reality changed, but simply because your exhausted brain processes emotions differently in the dark. But as the night begins to break and that first settled blue light of dawn approaches, we really need to reframe what this terrifying 3 a.m. experience actually means for you. It is incredibly important to realize this. Waking up lonely does not mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're regressing, and it definitely doesn't mean you'll be stuck in this dark place forever. It just means your brain is tired. It's honest, and it is completely unfiltered. This is just a universal biological reaction to isolation. Ultimately, what's left in the dark is usually just the part of us that wants comfort, reassurance, and to not feel so alone with our thoughts. Nighttime just strips away the noise hiding what we truly feel. Welcome to simply being human. Now, a quick caveat here. If this 3 a.m. waking happens a lot, and it's paired with persistent daytime signs like ongoing sadness, a loss of appetite, emotional numbness, or feeling totally disconnected during the day, pay attention to that. This is your body's honest way of saying you have been carrying way too much on your own, and it's time to seek out some daytime support. But as the morning light finally returns and those shadows disappear, I hope you take comfort in this. You are not strange for feeling this way. You are not behind in life. And above all, you are not alone. The quiet hours just make our feelings louder. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. Have you experienced this nighttime loneliness too? And what do you do when the world gets quiet? I really hope this journey from mysterious dread to biological clarity brings you a sense of peace. So the next time the clock strikes 3 a.m. and the room goes completely silent, just remember, it's only your tired mind asking for a little comfort.